Now then, another little trip up in the Lake District, round the Coniston Fells. So looking forward to this one. We should get 7 in today. Old Man of Coniston, Dow, Crag, a fair few others, Werherlam. But looking like a good day, a little bit damp at the minute, but it should clear off. Loads of history this area, so I'll probably bore you all to tears with a load of videos, but I love this area. We're going to be finishing down the Walna Scar, because at the minute we're going up. On us left we've got the Copper Valley. The mining in this area is just superb, so should have some nice long reaching views as well. Look at that, I've only got a jumper on. And best of all, got the missus and Andy here with us today. Can't wait. So, as everybody probably knows, Lake District's a massive volcanic area. That's why we've got all these mountains 450 million years ago. You can imagine it looked a little bit different. But here we are in the Copper Valley. You can see the spoil heaps. So as all the minerals were pushed out of the ground by the volcanic activity and everything, and the lava flows and everything. Of course that's what we're walking on here, which is igneous rock. And the minerals were pushed out with the copper and everything, and then the lighter minerals got washed away and weathered away, leaving the copper. And that's why they used to mine here, for the copper. Obviously very malleable and everything, so we used in hulls of ships, used in weapons, troughs, all kinds of things, because you could hammer it into shape. And they're the old workers' cottages. But fantastic, eh? Like it says, an area with incredible history everywhere. So I'm really looking forward to this. I hope not. So there you have the old copper mine. Looks amazing, doesn't it? But can you see the conduit running off it, which is that bit there, to the large water wheel? So the government have obviously got to make money out of you somehow. And back in the day, one of the things that they said was to charge you an extraction fee for that. And that meant that they could tax you, because apparently you slowed down the water in the rivers and things like that. So yeah, look at that, big old workings. Quite impressive. See all the spoil heaps all around, because obviously they've got to put a lot of work in to get out that little bit of copper. All the work that they've put into that. And there's a big old quarry up there as well. Look. Fantastic, eh? So we just found a little adit, and this is what these were called, adits. It's where they dug in horizontally into the rock face. And you can see all the water coming in. But what it meant is, if you dug down, obviously you had to spend a fortune on pumps and pumping the water out. Whereas if we went in horizontally like this, the water could escape, and it was a lot cheaper. So much to get us working. Look at this thing. So we could have made it easier. We wanted to have a look at the slate mines. But the view's amazing. Look at that. And there's Andy. Somewhere. There he is. Nearly touched the floor in front of you. Well, Werherlam summit. In the mist, obviously, so we can't see anything. Anyway, yeah. Try to decide which one of these is the top. I'm thinking it's this one, where Andy's going. Just had the map out checking. So, we're both wet through, it's quite warm. Hoping that this wind will dry us out. Now we're at the top, then we might get the windproofs on. Shame the mist's down though. So we've done Werherlam, and we dropped down, and we're at the bottom of the prison band here. So that's the prison band, so this is a short scramble up to Swirl, how I think it is. A little lake down there, I can't remember its name at the minute. And over there is Broad Car. And when we get up to the top, you'll see the remains of a Halifax bomber that crashed in, I think, 1944. There were Canadians were on board, 8 of them. They all unfortunately died, and there's a wreckage and a memorial to them. But then obviously you can't just leave the planes up there. They can be spotted from the sky and everything. They can give people reference of where they are, so that, you know, they have to try and get rid of it a little bit back in the war. And down Broadcar, down that bit, that's where they threw a load of the remains to try and scatter the remains so they couldn't be seen as easily. But if you go to the Ruskin Museum in Coniston, there's one of the old engines there. But we'll get to see that up the hill in a bit. And the lake down there, that's Lever's water. There we are. There's Andy, Prison Band, and then Broadcar over there. Looking forward to this. Well, back into the wind a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me. But stopped and had us dinner. Coming up the Prison Band, we stopped and had some. Top of Swirl now. There's Andy. Again, the amazing views, as you can see. A bit of a dog leg out now to the next one. But that should be the toughest part of the day, that. Tiny little scramble. A little bit windy. Halifax bomber sign. Andy's having to hold his hat on, it blew away. You won't believe how close to the top they are. Just literally. That's it there. 2 meters in height. Wind's died down a bit, fortunately, so we're just getting to Great Friar now. It's a bit of a funny one, this. There's kind of 2 summits, if you can see that. And when I looked into it, there were no definite as to which was the summit, so we'll just go to both. Great Cars was the one where the Halifax bomber was. It was quite moving been there, actually. What they did in the World War is just nuts, isn't it? So yeah, this is number 4 of the day. Another 3 to go. And then a long trudge down towards the sky to finish. I'm glad the wind's died down a bit. Still no views. But a cracking day nonetheless. We've actually got a view. Quite cool, that, down to Walnascar and the Dudden Valley. Plenty to tell you about that when we get down there. Now we're up here, just about to climb onto the ridge. And the old man of Coniston. Quite cool this bit, so we're on this little ridge on the way to Coniston on the map. Just looking over the edge there. Not sure if you can see Lever's water, I can't remember the name of it now. But that's where the Copper Valley is. And there's the water. So that's your Copper Valley. So obviously the glaciers down this side and the eruptions and everything brought the copper out of the ground. You go into the other side, you look down the Dudden Valley, and that's all slate. And there's various different pieces of slate down there as well. So every piece of, every seam with the rock and the slate in it is all slightly different. And I'll tell you something pretty cool about that when we get down onto Walnascar and out of the wind a little bit. But how beautiful is that? Just stunning. Nice to have a view for once. And yes, it's quite cold, hence the hood. Just got up the old man of Coniston there, but look at how busy it is. We've done this early on purpose. Look at that. everybody. And it's still windy. It's the top of the last one, Book Pike, and we had Stout Crag just before that. And then we're down now. So that's Walnut Scar down there. I hope you can see the track down there. We've got to walk all the way down. First, we drop off the nose of this hill. What a cracking day! I mean, the sun's never come out, but the mist has cleared for a few seconds every now and again. So we've had a few views, but it's not been that good. Wet, wet, which is nice. So yeah, long trip down the Walnut Scar Road. Onto the Walnut Scar Road now. So you can see it's absolutely incredible how well made it is. And this is only came about because of the wool merchants trading with the Abbeys over on the west coast. It's quite impressive, isn't it? Can you imagine the old drovers driving the mules over here carrying the wool? You wouldn't want to do it in winter, would you? Especially in those old clothes and those old boots. Must have been hardy folk back then. And also, while we're walking down Walnut Scar, can you see over there? So that is an old quarry, just there. If you can just see where I'm pointing to there. That's Bannishead Quarry. And it's quite interesting because just over the hill over there in the Dudden Valley, just to the west a little bit, there's still a working quarry over there. And it's incredibly sought after slate. It's amazing, it cleaves really well. It's got some beautiful, beautiful patterns in it. And it's still sought after even now for flooring and wall cladding and things like that. Whereas that one, Bannishead, even though it's so close, it's really poor slate. It doesn't cleave quite as well. It's a bit more pliable, so it's not quite as good. So that was used for like lintels and windowsills and things like that. So close together and yet totally different uses. Another thing with the slate is it's a metamorphic rock. So what that means is it's changed its structure, and that's one of the reasons why it cleaves so well. It's the old ash from the volcanoes, which under the intense heat from inside the planet and everything, when this whole area was volcanic, and then the pressure over time, it's reformed it and compacted it. And the reason it cleaves so well is it's like avalanches with snow. So with the snow, you get some snow overnight, it freezes, thaws a little bit, and it puts a really tiny little thin layer on, and then you get some more snow that settles on top. And then all it takes is a little bit of agitation, and you get that big slide off, which causes the avalanches. And that's a similar type of thing with the slate. That's why when you hit it, it slides apart. And it's how those layers have compacted over time, and you can split them so easy. And also, have a look over there. Can you see how that mountainside there? It almost looks like it's rolling down the hill. You can see the little mounds as it drops down. And that's because it's all igneous rock. So it's actual old lava flow. And that's why it looks like it's rolling down the hill. So when you see these images in Iceland and things like that of this slow lava gently rolling down the hills and down the mountains, in 450 million years, that's what it's going to look like. Warmed up enough to take the coat off. So we're still on Walnut Scar. Another reason I love it so much. How many times have I said that? But you've two types of flooring in the UK, if you like. So you've got your bedrock, and then you've got your superficial deposits. So your bedrock's like your sandstones, which is this area, then you've got your chalk, your limestones over in the dales and things like that. And then on top of that you've got your superficial deposits. And that's your peats, your brackens and everything like that. And your peat bogs, you know, all that kind of thing. But what the great thing about this road is it almost bisects it perfectly. So on this left hand side as you're walking down, you've got your brackens and your grasses and things like that. And then on your left hand side there's not much difference, but there certainly is a little bit lower down. You've got all your peat bogs, and that's just your plant matter that's decayed over tens of thousands of years, you know. So your bedrock's tens of thousands of millions of years old, and then you've got your superficial deposits, which are just tens of thousands of years old. So I've had to turn around to the other side now. So again, this is going back to the Ice Age now. So all the mountains were formed in the volcanic era, then you had the Ice Ages, everything froze, And then your glaciers melted, which carved out the massive lakes that you see, so like Lake Coniston, and all the hanging valleys up here. So that's a hanging valley up there, higher up. But then as the ice has melted, it's then rushed over the top and down here. And you see the beautiful V shape that is formed. We find them all over the world. It's an alluvial fan. So what's incredible about them is, as the water slows down, it deposits and it gets wider and wider and wider and fans out into like a fan shape, if you like. But what's really interesting about that is, we can find them on Mars. And it's one of the few things that proves that once upon a time, Mars did in fact have water on it. And therefore, hopefully life. Which is why they're always wanting to go and explore it so much.